Hi, and welcome to Evolve training on how to apply for an educational visit. First of all, can I apologise? I've got a cold, so it's not going to sound great. Okay, so when you've logged into Evolve, you should see this screen. Obviously, if you can't log in, then please see me to get your login details restored. So you can see all the tabs at the top. You won't have as many of these tabs as you're not administrator, but the ones you do need to have, obviously, the Home tab, the Resources tab, the Add tab and the Track tab. So we're going to be looking at the resources, the Add and the Track today. So to add a visit, what you need to do, click the blue Add tab there, and then choose your faculty. For the purpose of this one, I'm just going to leave it as SMT, and give your event a name. So for the purposes of this training, I'm going to call this one Training Visit, and click Continue. Oh, it says there's one already, so I'm going to call it Training Visit 2. So, first set of questions. Essentially, the way Evolve works is it asks you quite a series of questions which you need to provide answers to all of them to, and in some cases upload files to be able to proceed with the visit. And there's a two-stage process of application. There's the first stage, which is what they call outline permission, and that's the one where your cover needs to be approved, and also the purpose of the trip needs to be approved by myself and by the cover manager. And then if that gets approved, then you go on to the next phase, which is the full application. So taking you through the first bit is taking you through the outline permission. So first question is it on site? And again, for the purposes of this training, I'm going to treat this as a residential activity, but not overseas, just to simplify a little bit. So it is not on site, which means we are taking students off site. It's not overseas, but it is residential. But it's not going to include any adventurous activities in this case. If it did do, then you would have extra sections to fill in. So click Continue. So next stage is to look at the purpose. I'm clicking Purpose here. It gives you by default two purposes to choose from, two primary purposes. I'm just going to choose, I'm going to imagine this is like a field studies visit. So I'm clicking Field Studies, and to access the curriculum Field Studies element, just to give it a title to work with. Click Continue. Obviously, you put your own purpose in there. The next section you need to pick from is to give some dates for your trip. So if you click in that box there, the calendar will pop up. I'm just going to put it for a date into the future. Select your starting date and your end date. Click Continue. And then it's asking also for your departure times from school. So I'm going to say we're leaving at 8:30. I'm going to get there, let's say, I don't know, 10:20. And when we come home, we're going to be leaving at 4. And we're going to be back at, let's say, 5:55. You're not going to be held to these times, just to give anybody who's looking at the form later a bit of an idea as to your itinerary. So click Continue. Provisional numbers is to give the people like myself and the cover manager who are going to review your application, just to give some ideas as to how many students are going on this visit. So I'm going to say 13, Year 10 and 11 students. And that's as fine detail as you need for now. Your travel arrangements, you'll have to pick from a set number of options there. So in this case, we're going to be using a coach we've hired. So that's hired coach and minibus with driver. And obviously you can select more than one. If you're doing a fairly complex overseas visit, residential, for example, you might be using underground, buses, ferries as well. In this case, we're using the hired coach. So for staffing, it defaults, if you've logged on to Evolve, it'll default to you as the leader name. Please do put your mobile number in there. Obviously, that's not my mobile number. And then with your intended accompanying staff, if I click the orange pen button there, it brings up the faculty list. And for this one, I'm going to add see if I've got my colleague in my geography department. There he is. I'm going to add Callum to that one. And you can add, obviously, quite a few different members of staff there. And you can also add volunteers that aren't on the system. I can click that orange pen and I can select people who aren't necessarily full-time teaching members of staff, or I can add, with the blue plus button there, someone else who is not yet on the system. I'm not going to in this case. So I've got my staffing there, click Continue. It will then ask you for a reason why you've chosen those individual members of staff. And it says there, the note above on the top of this page there, please ensure that as a guide, there should be a 50-50 split of teaching and non-teaching staff on visits to reduce the burden of cover. So I'm going to put in here a reason why I've chosen those members of staff. We are both required as geography teachers. But in there you need to justify why you've chosen those members of staff. So the next bit is you need to look at cover. So if I click on the cover element, if there's no cover required, click no, click continue, that'll be fine. But if there is, then you're going to need to upload. So I'm going to click yes, click continue, and it'll now ask me for my request for absence form. And if we can upload up to 4 different request for absence forms here for members of staff who are going on the visit. So to find these different forms, if you haven't got a digital copy of the request for absence form, if you click on the the pink resources tab here, and don't worry about clicking off your form, it saves automatically. And on the resources tab, I've got this button here. If I hold the mouse over it, the tooltip pops up and it says view guidance, policies and documents. I can click on that, and then under the forms and templates tab, I scroll down here, I can then download any of the forms I need just by clicking on the actual individual word. So I've already downloaded some of these. So for example, I've got the request for absence form here, looks like that, and I can fill it in. I can save that on my user area. I can go back to my form, and then if I go back to the actual application, to do that I click on track, because I've already started it now, I'm not adding a new one. Click on track. I can then click on staff because it's my account, click on draft, and there's my one I've just been working on. I can click on the orange button to open the form back up. I can go back to where I was working on, which is cover, and then I do need to apply for cover, so I'm clicking continue, and then if I click that blue plus button, I'm going to give it a name for the file I'm going to upload. I'm going to call it EB cover. Click on the choose file button, navigate to where I have I've kept my form. So just got to find it now. Apologies, it is here somewhere. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's have a look. So I should have a file in here with all my test files in, but can't find it right now. Oh, this is great. Bear with me. Oh, I think I know where it is now. Hang on. No, I'm just going to go back. EVC, and then there should be a folder here that says test files. There we go. So I find my my request for absence, RFA, click the open button, and then if I click continue, it will then add that file. I can see there it's uploaded that file. So if I needed to upload any more, I could use those other blue plus buttons. When I'm done with that, I click continue. The last step you need to go through to apply for outline permission is to cover some details about the finance of the trip. So if I click on the finance tab there, it's asking me first of all, is there a cost involved? So if there is, obviously I'm going to say yes. If not, I'll click no, click continue. In this case there is. So the finance information form is downloadable again from the resources tab. It looks like this. And you need to fill one of these in because this basically breaks down the costs for the finance team so they know exactly what to expect when students start bringing money in or sending money through on parent pay. This form also enables them to know exactly what they need to add to parent pay. So please do fill this in. Go back to my form. So yes, there is a cost. Click continue. I'm going to add my finance information form, my dummy one that I've prepared before. There it is. Click open. Give it a name. EB finance information form. There were a little quirk of the system, weirdly. I've typed a name in there and I have chosen my file, but this button is grayed out. It looks like I can't upload it. If I just click anywhere here and then click back, it seems to work. There you go. So I can now see all my different sections on the left have got ticks. I can click continue. I've got no more sections left to update. So I can click on the bold statement here, submit for outline approval. Click on that. Now at the moment, because we've changed over our cover manager, I've put myself as the person who does both approvals, but usually there'll be the name of the cover manager in here and it will go to both people separately. And both those people have to approve your application for it to come back to you to complete. So I'm going to click continue there to send it to those two people. And now if I look at my area of Evolve, if I look at draft, I don't have that now. So this is the one I've just submitted. It says training visit 2. I've not yet got outline permission. I've got a cross there, so I can't carry on with that application yet. But the person who it's been sent to, in this case me, will have had an email automatically to say you've got a form you need to approve. So that really concludes the first video on how to apply for outline permission, and stay tuned, come back for the second video about how to apply for full permission. Thank you.